All right, so Mark, what can you tell us about PDC-BIG and how you're implementing your web-to-print solution?
Thank you, guys. So I really appreciate the opportunity to present to you guys today, and I hope you find it useful. Just to give you the heads up as to what I plan to go through, so I just want to cover who we are, our web-to-print evolution. I think that's an interesting thing when we look at this technology, how we use it and how we use it slightly differently to the norm. And I felt it would be nice to give you the context of our business, because although it might seem like I'm laboring the point a little bit, the context of what we try to achieve versus a traditional print solution per se is slightly niche, so I thought that might be of interest for you guys also. Then also how we scale and develop our solutions for our customers, and then I'll finish up with a summary as to why we use this technology and obviously the partnership that we have with Rakatech as well. So we're part of Brady Corporation. Brady's mission is that they identify and protect premises, products and people, and our organization is the part that protects and identifies the people element of that, and specifically with name tags. Brady's a relatively large organization, so although the map on the right hand side shows mainland Europe and the continent, it's a global organization. It's a $1.2 billion turnover, 7,500 employees globally, and as you can see, operations in many countries and distribution in many more. So when we were acquired back in 2003, we were a small business called B.I.G, and it stood for B.I.G International Group, and we fulfilled the first part of their ambition to identify people, as I mentioned earlier. Then later in that acquisition strategy, they acquired PDC, and then, as you know, these marketing geniuses put us together as PDC-BIG, and hence the name, and we were born again in 2013. So just moving on to the evolution of our web-to-print solutions. So we started this journey way back in '97. We were one of the first businesses, if not the first business in the UK to put business card ordering online. And at that point, it was fairly rudimentary. So it was a form filling exercise. We took that data from the web, and then we pretty much did everything manually. So we just had a web front end, and then it just was replicated manually at the back end. Then moving into 2000, we invested in the first SaaS solution, which was Print Channel, which at the time was an EFI product. And what we found is that was great for business cards, but it was really inhibitive for name badges, and name badges was our core market. We were growing business cards really quickly because of these solutions and the ease of ordering, because at that point, if we remember back, it was very much, I'll send you a proof of your artwork, I'll send it back again because you misspelt my name, I'll send it back again, and it just alleviated all of those pains that the customers were experiencing. Like I say, in terms of the SaaS solution, we were paying a click charge, and that was what was inhibitive, because at the time the click charge was actually more expensive than the name badge itself, from name tag in the USA obviously. And then also for the business cards, when we went to work with print management companies that had volume, we were actually finding that also as a large percentage of the cost of the total product. So we actually decided to move away from that, complement it necessarily with our own PHP platform initially, with launching B.I.G. Again, a product that we had developed with an in-house developer just to make it simple for our customers to order online. And we started integrating that in a number of ways to make it easy for our customers to place orders with us, and specifically from thousands of different locations. And I'll come on to that later in the presentation as well, as to how that facilitates and provides customers and ourselves with a level of control that is second to none. So we were linking into their systems, whether that might be their cash registers or their intranet sites, or however that may be. We were just making it very seamless and easy to work with us. Then in 2010, we made a fairly profound decision, is that we wanted to start to develop and build our system. We had found some limitations with the existing technology, and there was an expense there that we wanted to stay away from and move away from. So we actually bought a system. It was from a UK-based company called ROI, and that system was called X-Rail. And we purchased that as a hosted system, and something that we would then develop alongside that provider. Inherently, that became very challenging. The technology moves at quite a rate, so we found that they were less and less willing to add functionality for us, which is an incredibly important part of our business. We like to be unique, and these products are a differentiator in our marketplace, and having a partner that doesn't support you in developing alongside yourselves is a real kind of killer for our business. So we decided to move away. And it took us a while because we had to prepare for that. Again, same as what Andrew mentioned, I think the level of diligence required to assess the marketplace, make sure you make smart decisions and choose the right provider is absolutely paramount importance during these decisions. So we did our due diligence. We met the guys more by coincidence and luck than judgment, but we met the guys at Rakatech, and we decided that we would move over to EPOWER. And then, as you can see, we've continued that same process. The difference is that we haven't moved away from the product. We've actually made it more important and more integrated than ever in our back-end workflow solutions, a multitude of products that we service that I'll show you in a second, and moving on to now we're actually migrating all of our legacy systems into the same platform because we have that level of confidence, capability, and ability to diversify as and when we need to. So it's been a journey, and I'm a firm believer that you learn from your mistakes, and I think where we've arrived at today and continue to look at the future is testament to making sure that once you commit to something and you see the value in it, then as the study shows, it's certainly pertinent to make sure that you continue to develop alongside your customers' needs as well, and you need a partner to support that. So along the way, obviously, we have 30 years experience in name badges, the 20 years in the web-to-workbench solutions. We're a product business where almost everything we produce has somebody's name on it as a minimum. So whether it's a name tag or a business card, or whatever product we're touching, whether it's an identification card for facilities management, the minimum is that it has someone's name on it, and it's slightly different. I know lots of people now deal with variable data, but we're dealing with hundreds and thousands of those things on a day-to-day basis, and this is all underpinned by our web-to-print technology. So turning technology on its head, this slide is really just here to demonstrate it in terms of, certainly for the UK market, a lot of people don't see the value in web-to-print because they look at it and say, well, I'm going to create a template which somebody's going to submit one order for 1 million letterheads, let's say, in keeping it simple. Our business is the complete opposite of that. We're actually trying to generate 1 million PDFs of one unique product, and then obviously consolidate those into a fairly efficient production cycle, and then distribute it out to thousands of delivery addresses. So to give you an essence of what EPOWER, and we call our solution Click to Order, supports us with is on a monthly basis we would accept 79,000 order lines, and for us an order line is a delivery address. So I'm hoping this kind of segment of my presentation gives you an idea of the scale that these systems are capable of managing as well. 96.8% of all of our orders, irrespective of what product it is, comes from our online ordering solution. We ship out to more than 3,600 delivery locations a day. That's 4,000 PDFs generated, 18,000 variables within those PDFs, and that's with zero human intervention until it reaches the production device. So, where there would be potential concern around, are these systems suitable? Are they capable? I think that is a resounding yes in terms of, if your business is simple, there are solutions that helps to manage that. Name tags seem on the outset very straightforward, but the infrastructure of the system needs to be very flexible and designed very differently. And again, you need to provide a provider that supports that and enhances that experience both for you as an organization, but also for your customers as well. And then we have a multitude of production devices, and I've included this because I didn't think that it would not be relevant, if that makes sense. Double negative there, but I'm sure you understand what I mean. So we have a multitude of presses, and again, the level of flexibility of the output. Most of our devices work from PDFs. but the format of their output, how you need to tailor that output, the color profiling of those different solutions are also imperative in your consideration of how your system will work. You know, one of my boss's previous sayings in the past was that if you only have a hammer, you better hope all your problems are nails. So your solution is the same. You need it to be flexible, open, and agile in the way that you do things as well. So as you can see, it services a fairly broad range of products. So I don't like the term catalog, but it's certainly an online solution and a one-stop entity for lots of our customers. And commercially, I think Andrew touched on it as well. It's a platform to develop your offer to a customer. You know, it makes it easier to add new products. It makes it far more simplistic to make it visible to an existing customer base. And it also gives you control over what you have available and what you do not have available. And similarly to where, for example, you have a direct web portal, so you might have a web shop like Magento, for example, your pricing is far more difficult to siphon off and have dedicated to specific customers. For example, you end up having a multitude of discount codes or some other solution that is appropriate, whereas ours is very much tailored per customer, and we have the ability to develop those specifically in mind in partnership with those guys. So again, the solutions that we have and offer are really imperative to being able to deliver all of those products to all of our customers. The penultimate point on this slide is critical for me when it comes to online ordering and having a solution to facilitate the production and the order acceptance of a product which is viewed as highly commoditized but low value in terms of perceived value. So we need to be able to take that and produce it really effectively, really quickly, and with the minimum administration involved at all. So this is just a really brief slide in terms of markets that we serve. You can see the breadth and the depth of the sectors and the kind of industries that we support. So I don't really need to labor that point so much. And then looking at the fantastic solutions we offer, and we really genuinely have amazing customers. On a global level, Harrods, obviously most people have heard of those guys. We have EE, the telephone network, Tesco, which is Europe's largest retailer, Clark Shoes, and many other businesses that use us. And it's one of the portals that we offer them is what gives us the confidence to be able to take their orders, manufacture really small, low-cost items and distribute them back out to thousands of delivery locations across the UK and Europe. And like I say, I added this not for my benefit so much in terms of covering kind of a trumpet blowing for our business, because I'm always proud of what we do, but again to kind of establish some level of confidence and to break down those kind of reservations around what these systems are capable of. These are massive brands in the UK and across Europe, and you know, if our solution can support those guys, then I'm sure that it can support many others across the globe as well. And as I say, it's super flexible. At the moment, we can take orders at any point during today for over 500,000 users. And then just moving on to my final slide. So why web to print? We had more than 650 reasons to choose RadCat. Now, the reason I mention that is that when we actually went through the 4 or 5 legacy solutions that we were maintaining in the past, we created a fairly laborious process, but based on all of the solutions, customized or otherwise, that we'd provided to our customers to date, it was actually incredibly important that we catered for all of those when we migrated to a new system. And we came up with a list of over 650 pieces of functionality. Now, some were already inherent in the system, but as Andrew touched on, we really needed somebody that would be able to support us in developing their system further. So it has 90% of everything we need. And then, as I said on my previous slide about turning technology on its head, there were certain fundamental things that we'd already developed that we needed to be encompassed within the solution that we chose. And RadCat were the guys that were able to supply 650 and some, and we've benefited from that continuously since then. So key things, differentiation. This marketplace is tough, right? We all know that. So you have to be able to differentiate yourselves from your competition. To do that, you need to be agile. You need to be able to take advantage of marketplace changes. You need to be able to see an opportunity and then actually deliver upon it. And these solutions are key for all of those. Personalization I've touched on with a heap of variable data. The ease for our customers to work with us is critical. Being able to keep our costs low. Lean, it reaches across all of your business functions. You know, it's lean in terms of how we manufacture, and it's a fundamental part of everything that we do in our manufacturing sites in the UK to make sure that we actually produce this product profitably. And then for customers, obviously, they have their brand management. They have trust in these systems to make sure that once it's actually in the system, anybody can actually log into our system. As I say, Tesco's retailer, they have 375,000 employees across the UK. And at any point, any of those employees can log in, but they know they can only get their badge delivered to their branch location. And at the same time, Tesco's marketing director is 100% confident that we're going to produce exactly the same product time and time again to their brand guidelines and deliver it out to any one of their 4,000 branch locations within Europe. So again, in summary, I think it provides control for us. You know, it gives us a great level of control over our productivity and our processes, and for our customer, obviously, is critical. And then the last point that I thought I'd finish with is our people. Sometimes it's an oversight that these systems are just a commercial opportunity, but for us in our business, I've been delighted to see lots of our team actually benefit from the fact that they can be involved in new things, they can learn new skills, they can be developed. So I think it's also important for your employees to have that opportunity to help you build a business, but also develop it moving forward.
Great. All right. Thank you. Well, we got a couple minutes left for some questions, so let me slip a couple in here. I'll ask this of both of you guys. What advice would you give to someone who's new to web to print and maybe has decided to go down that road but doesn't really know how to get started? Andrew, you want to take that one first?
Sorry, I missed the part of that question. I just picked up my hand.
I was going to say, what advice would you give someone new to web to print? Just some general advice.
Number one is, first of all, look at the vendor that you're going to be working with, because that vendor will become part of your team, and that will help you make your decision. So if you're talking to people and they basically say, this is what my product can do, that's not the right person you should be talking to. You need to be talking to people that are going to say that we'll work with you in order to make sure that you're growing and your customers' needs are being met. But then when you're doing that, make sure that you have got someone on your team that will be responsible for that project. If you do those two things, you're going to have a great not only reaction internally at your place, but you have a great reaction from your customers, which is the most important thing. So look at those two things when you're looking at it.
Great. Mark, anything to add to that?
No, I think be brave. I think that's critical. You know, make a commitment to it, as I think the previous presentation suggested, and really make the most of it. I think, you know, it's such a great opportunity to do things in a different way, and it shouldn't be fear; it should be excitement.
Okay. What do you, we only got about another minute here, but somebody asked a follow-up to that, and he wanted to know, Greg wanted to know, what recommended staffing requirements and skill sets do you think the person is needed, the person that you designate to sort of champion your web to print? Is there any skill sets that champion has to possess, Andrew?
Personally, anyone that's working on IT inside your or it could be even your programmer, your graphic artist, people that aren't afraid of technology, aren't afraid of computers, because really, at the end of the day, we've had from the store level graphic artists that are actually the champions of the system inside our locations. So they're being able to be taught how to build portals, how to build product, and do all of those things. So it's really not a very high level. You're not looking for programmers. That's not something that you need with regards to this, especially if you got the right vendor. So just look at someone that you probably have internally right now, and it could be a very rewarding thing for that person being able to do something new inside the facility that actually helps build business in that facility.
Great. Some great advice. And unfortunately, I think we've run out of time. On behalf of Printing Impressions, I want to personally thank Andrew, Mark, and Nathan for presenting, to Ricad Tech for sponsoring this educational event, and especially you, our audience, for attending today's webinar. Be sure to check out our webinar page to get information on all our archived and upcoming webinars. If you would just take a minute to fill out the brief feedback survey that will appear on your screen next, we'd be most grateful. Your feedback will influence the webinars that we bring you in the future. Hope to see you at the next Printing Impressions webinar. Thanks, everybody.